like that. He's serious. He's serious.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
What's that? Really? There is a small woman trapped in that box. No. Yes.
I still don't understand. Is there something else I can do for you?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Picture This Film Reviews. This is our bonus episode where we will be reviewing the new Hocus Pocus 2. So we actually are catching this right on time because I think it came out like within a week ago, not even right now as we're recording. So we're going to hop on that bandwagon and we are going to just take it away. But anyway, before we do all that, Dan is feeling a little sick, so you might not hear as much from him today. He won't go like, what did we say last week? Mouth vomit or whatever it was on. But anyway, Matt, how are you this week?
I'm doing well. Excited to talk about Hocus Pocus. Excited to talk about our Thursday movie as well. I'm just doing well.
Good. Very good. Well, I guess maybe we can start out, or do you have any Hocus Pocus trivia for us or no? Just like nod, I guess.
On this show, I think we're gonna dive right into the
Okay.
the reviews
Okay.
and not take up
Okay.
more of your valuable time.
So I guess since I am hosting, and by the way, my name is Kayla, if you're not familiar. This is Dan, this is Matt. I kind of always forget to do that. I'll probably forget to do it in the next review as well. But I'm just going to get right into it since I am the host of this current video. I will be going first. So I just want to say that I fully watched the first Hocus Pocus for the first time, fully watched. I had seen bits and pieces of it throughout my lifetime. I probably have watched it some point, but was so young because it came out a year after I was born. So fully watched it. What day was it? Saturday? No, what day was it?
Friday?
Saturday?
Before the party.
Before the party, yes. Oh, so it was like Friday night, maybe. Like, anyway. So that was like my first full, actually, really 100% there viewing of the first Hocus Pocus. So I actually want to talk about that first. I didn't really want to watch this movie because I didn't believe the hype of it. I really didn't understand what was the appeal, I'm not really a huge Sarah Jessica Parker fan, but I do really like Bette Midler. So it was kind of my loss for these last, I'm not going to give away my age here, but these past few years of my life. Anyway, I just want to say I absolutely loved it. I understand the hype of this freaking movie. It is so wonderful. It is so fantastic. It is so funny. And I think that is what makes it so great is like you are laughing the entire time. I really loved it so much that I will probably watch it 100 times more now because it's so good. So I understand why this is like a cult. I don't know if it was very well received when it first came out. I don't know. So I'm going to call it a cult classic, even if it's not. But I understand why almost 30 years down the road, why they wanted to do a sequel, why 30 years later, just like Nightmare Before Christmas, it has this huge following and it doesn't seem to be dying down at all. And what's lovely too is it's a movie that, you can enjoy either as a child, an adult, an older person, any time in your life, you can sit down and watch this movie and enjoy. And I really enjoyed it. I probably am going to watch it again before Halloween season is over. That's how much I enjoyed it. Okay, so going into there, I had to tell you how excited I was about the first movie, so you get my enthusiasm for the second movie. So after watching that first movie, I was so excited. I was like, yes, we're going to watch Hocus Pocus 2 tonight. I can't wait. And I have to throw it in there too. I loved Billy Butcherson's character. Probably my absolute favorite from that first movie. So I was wondering, are they going to bring Billy Butcherson back? How are the sisters going to, I'm sorry, major spoilers too. How are the sisters going to come back from this? Because literally they just turned to sparkle dust. So anyway, we're really looking forward to it. So we started, and you can already tell from the beginning that they really wanted to put a 2022 spin on this thing. They wanted to make it pop culture, and like now relevant. And that was, you could already tell from the first scene that they wanted to do that. So I was like, I could, I was trying to get into it, trying to be like, okay, yeah, I get this vibe, because that's basically what they did in the first movie, was bring the witches to the 1990s and try to like put these sisters in here and see how they react to it. So they were kind of going the same way, which I appreciated, because it was a nod to the first film. And I think a lot of this, what this film was it was, kind of a love letter to that first film, bringing these classic characters back to your screen. So, I'm sure for the older people that saw this when they were younger, it was very nostalgic for them. And then the newer crowd, who like our children, who couldn't get into it really at all. I don't really think they cared for this new one, like maybe 5 minutes, and that was it. And they're like, eh. But they enjoyed the first one. But I'm trying to think of whether I should just keep it short and sweet. My biggest issue with this is I think they tried too hard to sell to the crowd that grew up with this movie. And I don't feel like that's what it should have been about. I feel like this was a very rushed kind of movie that you would see on like the Disney Channel growing up. Like it was a Disney Channel film. That's what it felt like to me. It didn't feel like it had the same pizzazz as the first one, which kind of sucked. I mean, there were moments where they really brought the humor back, especially with the sister Mary. I think she kind of carried this whole film, especially with the little Roombas, which was a nice little ode to her vacuum. And then Sarah's character as well, who had the Swiffer vacuum jet, or a wet jet, was so funny. Of course, it had its moments, and it had its little, references back to the first one and to other films as well. We were watching this kind of video of it talking about it referencing Hannibal, which was like very weird. Yes, which is like weird, because I don't expect there to be like any like references to, especially that movie, in this like kids movie. But overall, I think it was very rushed. I'm not really sure that it was needed, except for the fact that they could make a sequel, so they did make a sequel. And that's truly how I feel about it. I don't, from my perspective, after watching the first one entirely, I don't think it was needed, except for maybe just to bring back these characters. That's what it was. Because we're at the point in film where we want to reboot, we want to redo, we want to, bring back all these things, but not out of necessity, just because we can do so. So the writing too, I don't feel like was great, except for those few moments with Mary's character. And I think it cheapened the sisters being that, they're children eating witches, at the end, to really just have Winifred's character be like, it's all about my sisters, and then just poof off. I didn't appreciate that. I feel like that really kind of, negates the whole fact that they're out to get children. They're out to eat them. They want their souls, they are not these well-rounded good characters. And I feel like that was a Disney spin on it, and it shouldn't have wrapped up that way. That's really my take on it. It was great to have a laugh or two. It was great to see Billy Butcherson's character be kind of like a comedic relief, with the shop owner's character as well. But other than that, I probably will not be watching this again because I did not care for it in its entirety.
All right, if you're all right with that, I'm gonna go ahead and jump in real quick. I'm gonna make this short and simple. I think it was a cheesy money grab, if nothing else. I felt that they tried to build a backstory for the sisters that, is probably trying to put it in more realistic perspective of what would have happened in Salem if a woman had turned down a man's hand in marriage, which he really didn't offer himself, and they were kind of put out. We then had a reverend character that kind of cast them out, and then we meet a witch in the middle of the sacred woods who we find at the end of the film. So it leaves the door open for a sequel, which I really hope that we do not have to suffer through because I feel like they've already done enough here in this movie. As far as the sisters, I agree with Kayla. I feel like that for people who were literally trying to eat children were built up so much in the first movie as being witches that the tone at the end, like giving that all up so they could be reunited with their sisters and just vanish. I don't think it fit Winifred's character. I feel like she would have sacrificed them at the end to gain, eternal youth or immortality, and it was kind of a cheap end on the franchise. I'm also with Kayla. Do I think that it had moments that were redeemable? Yes. Watching the first film, the musical numbers, I felt that they did fit very well to the story and how they played out. In this, I felt that they were just forced on us, trying to recapture the nostalgia of the first movie, and it really was unnecessary and honestly just made it feel awkward and clunky. You also brought a lot of comedy actors into this, and I didn't feel, yes, there were comedy aspects in the first one, but we really lost the soul, the feeling, the depth that we had in the first, at least from a nostalgic standpoint. Again, this is the first time I've watched this movie in years. I remembered a lot what was going on, but watched it again with Kayla. So I had a fresh pair of eyes. I still would watch the original. The original will always be one I'd go to watch on Halloween. I know we try to stay away from scales here. I'd put this one somewhere right in the middle. I'd probably put this at like a 5.5 out of 10. It's not going to be on my watch list in the immediate future, maybe one day down the road. But that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to turn it over to Matt.
Come, little children, I'll take thee away. No, seriously though, someone should take this movie away. Hocus Pocus loses its magic, I feel. And it goes back to what Kayla says all the time on this show, is that when you do a sequel, it takes away from the original. I felt like this is 100% a great case of that. Now, and that's not to say I'm never going to watch the original again, because I'm going to watch the original every year like I always do. The original is a classic that, it's one of those things that you either know it or you don't. And I'm very happy to know that. I was surprised that you didn't know it, but I'm happy to know that that you watched it, and now because some people watch it and they just don't get it because they didn't grow up with it. So I'm happy that you like, oh, okay, you see it. The first one is great. This one, as far as the original three are concerned, Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy, they are fantastic. I'm not going to take anything away from all three of them. They are great. I mean, granted, much older. And that was the first thing I said when they appeared on screen. I was like, oh my God, they're old. They just look so much older. And I mean, granted, it's 30 years later, but at the same time, I mean, they're, anyway, I'm not going to harp on that. You can tell that they're having fun. And that's why I like that. You can tell that they're each enjoying being back in those characters, as those characters. But pretty much everything else in this movie was Disney Channel garbage. And that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it garbage. It loses the magic. The child actors, I guess they were like preteens or teenagers, but our main characters, I felt like they had no chemistry really together. I mean, maybe a little bit between the main two, but I just didn't feel I didn't buy that they were friends. I mean, I bought that they were Disney Channel actors who were pretending to be friends. Um, and it felt like the Sanderson sisters, who were such a huge part of that first movie. I mean, that's why the movie exists, right? That's why this movie exists. We wanted to see those characters back. But I felt like here they were just kind of used as filler. Like, our story was this new group of people, and she's also, spoilers, she's also a witch somehow, and that's never explained. Like, why is she a witch? Like, what is she related to somebody who was a witch? Like, what, how is that, how does she just become a witch? I don't know. And they didn't do a good job of explaining. Let's see. I didn't think it had the same like scariness about it. And not to say the original was scary, but Hocus Pocus, especially if you're young, could be a little frightening. I mean, they're a little scary. I'm gonna suck your soul out, and I'm gonna eat the children, and there really wasn't any of that here. And I mean, I get it; it's a different time, and maybe you want to go a little tamer because audiences have changed, and but and the ending, I didn't like the ending. What was up with that? It was just a lot of this movie I did not like. If you're a fan of the original, I think you should watch it just to see it, just to kind of get that itch scratched and be like, oh, I wonder what that's like 30 years later. Kind of like that Jurassic World Dominion. You want to see the cast back, so you're gonna you want to scratch that itch, but then you immediately regret it after. This is kind of like that. Overall, I think it's a disappointing sequel that doesn't come close to capturing what the original did. Do I picture myself watching this? Never again.
Fair enough. I do want to point out one thing that I really, really did not like too about this movie is they had forced this shop owner, which I can't remember his name, but to gather these ingredients for a spell. And one of the ingredients being the head of an ex-lover, right? So this spell is supposed to be Winifred's spell for like magic maxima or whatever it was. But this whole time you have Billy Butcherson pleading and saying, we were not lovers, blah, 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 right? But she was scorned and all this stuff. So why did the spell work?
Yeah, it shouldn't have. It didn't make sense.
So dumb.
And can I also just real quick about Billy? What was up with his? I mean, it's the same actor, so I was happy to see that, but he didn't talk like that in the original. In this, he was very like thespian, like using the these and the thys and the thous. Yes. In the original, he didn't talk like that. So like, why all of a sudden?
I know.
Well, the other piece to this, if Magic Maxima was an option in the first movie, why didn't we do that in the first place? Why are we still chasing these children down? And they had so much conviction that they were going to go after that little girl Danny and like steal her essence that they passed up on all these other children in the first movie. But when it came down to tracking down the direct descendant of the mayor, and they're first looking for that guy, and then like, oh, he's got a daughter, we'll go after her next. Like, it just felt out of character.
Because
like,
they used this a good chunk of time being like, this mayor is this guy we have to get, and then he just goes out the window, and it's like, oh my, like. And that's what I said to Dan. I said, did they literally just take the girl because they could take the girl? And it's just like it a lot of it was just like
the crowning achievement in this movie is honestly that I felt sorry for the guy not getting his freaking caramel apple.
Yeah.
And that was his most drama as
yeah, he was good. I like that. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of things too, like a lot of plot holes in it, a lot of different things that just, I mean, for they did it just for the sake of saying they could do it. And yeah, I hope they're, like Dan said, the ending is very much like they want to do another one. Please, Disney, do not pour any more money into this. Don't do another one. You're tarnishing the good Hocus Pocus name, and it's sad. And I think it's sad that this Hocus Pocus 2 is anyway related to the first film. So yeah, I think that is just a general, yeah, we did not like it. And honestly, I'm seeing a lot of people online that do not like it at all. Like, and that's the thing, it's terrible.
It's not good, and I think they tried to make it too. I don't know what the word is I want to use, but they just tried to make it. I, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but they tried to make it so like it would just 2022, and it just didn't. They try to make it to 2022, and they tried to make it. They just tried too hard, and what was the quote with Malcolm from Jurassic Park that we like saying all the time? They are so concerned about whether or not they could that they never stop to think whether or not they should.
Yeah.
And they definitely should not have in this case.
Agreed.
But the thing is, this isn't the first one that they've done this to, and this will not be the last. It's again just going to be a money grab, as many franchises they can. Like the one I'm terrified of is one Tim Burton said he would never do was a sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas, but now we have a sequel in the form of a book that's floating around. So matter of time, really. So,
Disney owns that, so
hold on. I have to say, Dan read the book and he liked it. So don't even try to be like, you know.
I like aspects of the book. I wouldn't like to see it as a film.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and I think they're it's all about money, and it's I don't think it's for the people. I think it's just to line their pockets. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps that up. You can also find our reviews as well on YouTube. Picture This Film Reviews on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook as well. All those things we upload on and let you guys know when we're dropping content, which is Mondays and Thursdays. We always do a bonus episode now on Monday, and then we do our regular review on Thursday. Yeah, what else am I trying to think?
Like, subscribe, comment.
Please check in. Yeah, let us know.
We're still waiting on comments, I think, for a topic to put on our wheel to replace the one we picked.
Yeah, we have to post that on our Instagram, sir. But anyway, yeah, please go like and follow us. Don't give me that. Please like and follow us anywhere on those platforms. We are always willing to talk to people about any kind of movie. And like we usually say too, this is just for fun. We are not professional critics by any way, in any form, but we like to have fun, just like when you guys watch movies too. We do the same, and we are always trying to get new ideas, new movies to watch. So any feedback is always appreciated. And thank you for stopping by. Please check out Thursday's episode when it's out as well. And I'm going to hand this over to Matt, because he always wraps us up in such a lovely way. So Matt, take it away.
Everybody have a great week. Join us on Thursday, and of course, love one another.
Bye.
Bye, guys.